Hello and welcome to Desync Nerds, a Nintendo Switch podcast. We're your hosts, Colin and Devin. We'll be bringing you all the latest news and hot topics from around the internets. So, what have you been playing and what are you looking forward to?
So this last week I played Fire Emblem Warriors a little bit more. I also got Super Mario Odyssey, which is good. Not great, but good. I'm enjoying
Not
it.
great. I mean, it's gotten killer reviews. Well, how is it not
Are,
great?
are we really poking this hornet's nest?
Well, I just like give me like a quick. Is there just a quick?
Mandatory motion controls. The difficulty is only there if you want it. Like you can literally just play the easiest 30% of the game and get by perfectly fine. Which I mean, I, I I guess it's not a mark against it, but when I feel so time pressured like I do right now, I'm just gonna default to the easiest 30%.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I didn't mean to derail you. Keep going. What else have you been doing?
None of the no other games, but also I have to talk about something I'm looking forward to. So there's this game called Blossom Tales. It's a Switch exclusive. It is coming out this winter, and it looks like a 2D Zelda. It looks like Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past, whatever one you
I
played.
was
Yeah,
I was just gonna say you mean A Link to the Past.
leave me alone. That was my childhood. That game on Game Boy Color, Link's Awakening, was I can't even explain the nostalgia I have for this game. Oh, I'm super hyped for that.
That was kind of me with Breath of the Wild because
Yeah.
my first like real experience was Ocarina of Time,
Hmm.
and Breath of the Wild felt very Ocarina of Time. But yeah, but my last week, since you care so much, was just Fire Emblem Warriors. That's all I was doing. I've been kind of busy. What like the NHL started back up, so I've been watching games. But when there aren't games to watch, I've been playing Fire Emblem Warriors, and it was the worst game I've ever played in my life. The first 30 minutes. Because there's an option early on, and this is why I figured this out. I don't know if I told you this, but there's an option early on that's like it's like, do you want us to interrupt you with tips and hints and stuff? And I was like, yeah, there's probably not going to be that many. Teach me how to play Warriors. It's been, you know, 10 years. No, it interrupts you every like 5 seconds. You pick up a tonic, interruption. You pick up a yellow thing, interruption. You kill an armored dude. Oh, that's an armored dude. You kill a cavalier. That's a Look, I get it. I get it. You don't need to interrupt me. And I didn't realize that that was what that was exactly until later. I was going through the options to see if I could like let the game let me play it, or
Hmm.
like every time there's a new objective or a new side objective, it stops the action and it's like press B to continue. Like just let me do it. But no. So I've won the options game, and I'm actually really enjoying it more than I thought I would too. So
You also did something else. So you want to explain this picture I have up on the stream?
yeah. So last night went to a Halloween party as a Nintendo. That's how it was described. We went as my girlfriend and I went as Splatoon Squid Kids, and so that's what that is. And the makeup didn't agree with my face, so we're doing that instead of cams.
But also, I mean, this needs to be shown to the world. Like, it's pretty amazing.
I'm pretty proud of it.
Well,
The hat I didn't make, but I mean none of it I made. She did the makeup for me, even like I was that lazy. But I was still very pleased with it. And we won a costume contest, so mad props.
good night.
Yeah. But anyway, on to the news. The um the first thing you got on here is Breath of the Wild Champions Ballad DLC releases 2017. I'm very excited. Why don't you tell me more about this?
I was gonna get to that. I want your opinion. So it is the from them most notable and story-driven expansion of the game, and they've told us that it's going to give us more backstory on the four champions that were defeated by Ganon and had the divine beasts taken over. So during that period, the champions being obviously, God, I don't know any of their names, but the big people from the four civilizations. Yeah. So are you excited for this? Are you gonna pick it up day one?
Mad. I felt playing the game that there was a sore lack of backstory for these people. I couldn't really find myself caring too much about them until much later. I have the season pass. If this isn't part of the season pass, I'll be very sad. I'm pretty sure it is,
It
but
has to be.
I think they said there were two DLCs in the season pass, and I've gotten the first one already,
Hmm.
which was the trials for the Master Sword and a bunch of other stuff and the Korok mask and blah blah blah. So I'm very excited for this, especially because it'll give me an excuse to play. That was one of my favorite games of all time because it was so much like Ocarina of Time. So
Hmm.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Any excuse to dig back into it?
Yeah, and to flesh out the characters because like I said, I felt no connection to them. They felt very shallow.
Yeah.
So hopefully this fixes that.
Yeah, I couldn't force myself to care either. I got like two of the memories and just went, these are dumb. This is a waste of my time.
Well, I mean, I got all the memories. I did it all. I tried to like care about the characters, and they made it hard for me.
Mhm.
So speaking of getting really mad at stuff, people are getting really mad over fake 7 out of 10 reviews for Mario Odyssey. What?
So, big in this world, game reviewer Jim Sterling is his name. He apparently he gave Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10, and it pissed some people off. They're really mad, and so
Breath of
the
the Wild or Mario Odyssey?
backstory here.
Okay, okay.
So the theory is that one of those kids who he made mad posted this to try to rile up anger against him because it's not even a real review. He doesn't give number reviews anymore, so it's literally just outrage for outrage's sake. But
Nice.
beyond that, first off, it's not real. Everybody calm down, it's not real. But second off, why do we care? Somebody doesn't like Odyssey. I enjoy it, but it's not a 10 out of 10. I think the best rated game of all time crap is so overhyped. It's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good.
If I
Um,
think it's game of the year and you don't think it's game of the year, then you're just wrong.
exactly, and it's this sort of like tribalist stuff that we're better than this. We can be better than this. I believe it.
Are we though?
Oh, I just wanted to, take a moment to please be
Get in
better,
front of them.
everybody. You
Yeah,
pork
right.
the hornet's nest again. I'm just gonna keep going to that one.
Speaking of not being any better, Harvest Moon Light of Hope releases November 14th for PC. The Switch releases 2018. What?
Yeah, it's they're making some decisions here. I don't really understand their plan. It releases early next year. Okay, so it does seem kind of cool. There's a big focus. So the backstory is that you're on a ship. The ship crashes because of a storm. The storm takes out basically the whole town, and the game is built around it's that same Harvest Moon. You farm, you have animals, you explore, but also you're helping rebuild that town. Which,
Is a little Animal Crossing then?
yeah, kind of. That's something that I've always really enjoyed. Like, there was Suikoden 1 and 2 are always really big on this. Can't think of the other game, but it's a mechanic that I really like, so I'll probably play it. But also, I like Harvest Moons. But it just, I don't know. It feels half baked. The 2018
I
release
mean,
is kind of weird.
the art style to me personally feels half baked.
Yeah, they in their press release they were talking about how it's supposed to be reminiscent of the SNES era, and I kind of get it, I guess.
I don't at all. It's reminiscent of my mobile games.
I was gonna be a little less pointed, but sure. And the SNES era graphics things kind of feels like a, Stardew Valley's doing really well. Let's try and capitalize on that, but also we're better than pixel art. And so we have this like, yeah, sorry, go.
But are you though? Well, nothing's wrong with pixel art. What I feel like what they did is definitely a step backwards.
Absolutely, I agree. Part of like pixel art is cool because there's no uncanny valley. It's very stylized and interesting. Whereas this looks like, as you said, mobile game views. Like this looks like Haytown or Heyday or whatever it was called.
Yeah, and Farmville, Heyday and Farmville. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will play it because I'm a sucker for these games. But oh, also we'll feature old Harvest Moon characters. So the idea is that they're really aiming for that nostalgia aspect with the SNES inspired graphics with air quotes here and the old Harvest Moon characters.
All right. Well, I mean, I kind of always wanted to play one of those, never really got into it, which is why I got Stardew Valley.
Hmm.
I kind of feel like I'm just gonna stick with Stardew Valley.
I mean, will you
I
still
don't
be
know.
playing Stardew Valley in early 2018?
I'm already not playing Stardew Valley, so
Exactly.
no. I mean, I got the itch scratched, I guess. So
Hmm.
I'm already on to bigger, better things. Speaking on to bigger, better things, Nintendo's tentpole releases are intended to also act as training for gamers. What does that even mean?
So in an interview with Yoshiaki
Don't hurt
Koizumi,
yourself.
I actually practiced this before the show and I had it down and then my brain melted. Um
It sounds like it.
so he's a GM at Nintendo. he referenced a number of different games and kind of pointed out what Nintendo wanted people to take away from them. Breath of the Wild gave us AAA gaming, solid graphics, big world, all that stuff on the go. 1-2-Switch showed us the features of the Joy-Cons, which kind of makes me want to pick it up, but also it looked kind of lame, so I don't know. I'm torn on this.
I mean, it's like a full price tech demo. Forget that.
Exactly, yeah. It's the Wii Sports game of this era, but also
Except Wii Sports was good.
but it's like 40 or 60 bucks or whatever it costs, and it's just I'm unsure if I want to participate in that at that level. Mario Kart 8 showed us on the go multiplayer when sharing the Joy-Cons, that kind of like slide the Joy-Cons off and everybody can play situation.
Did you ever do that?
I have not. I actually so at a class that I'm taking right now, I walk up and there's two kids from my class sitting on the ground playing Mario Kart while they wait for the next class to get out. So
Were they sharing Joy-Cons?
they were sharing Joy-Cons and they did not know each other.
That's incredible. Because like to get before I let my girlfriend touch the thing, I bought another control. I bought a Pro controller, and then I just slide mine off and use those in the thing that it came with.
Mhm.
Like I would never want to play anything on one Joy-Con.
It's not as bad as you would think. It's
No?
what we do for Nerd Night because I don't have 8 controllers lying around.
Yeah, because they're like $60 each. So.
Exactly. Joy-Con pair is 60, Pro controllers 70 or 80 or something.
Yeah.
So it could be worse. But yeah, so he also referenced Splatoon showing us local multiplayer, which I don't understand because you can't actually play Splatoon local multiplayer. Or you can, but it's super limited.
Yeah, and you have to use the phone app so you can talk on comms local because that's a thing people would do instead of just talking to each other.
Yeah, I don't really.
Very confusing. Anyway, next one.
With ARMS, they wanted to show us that they can make a new IP, which I kind of feel like was shown with Splatoon. Like Splatoon was a brand new IP and it was a solid game. It's a solid IP. It's definitely an enjoyable.
I guess still can make new ones because Splatoon came out in 2015.
As we learned. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then I would argue that Super Mario Odyssey also shows us the floating Joy-Con one in each hand kind of experience because they push it really hard. The intro load screen as you're coming in is a big screen that says, "Note, you can play the game with one Joy-Con on each hand and motion controls." And so yeah, they push this really hard, and it works out okay. I'm definitely less opposed to it now than I was before I started playing this. So.
Were you? Because every time I've tried to do that, my brain just shuts down. It just smoke comes out of my ears, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, I
don't know what it is about having separated halves of the controller. I just can't do it.
It feels very everything you would do with the left Joy-Con is something you would be doing with your left hand if the controllers were together. So it makes sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm special. Maybe you're special.
I mean, it's very possible. I'm definitely special. So, but yeah, it's just interesting that they want us to they want to train us too, so that I guess they can. I don't know. Where does he go from there? Did he say?
He did not say, but my speculation here is that this is kind of to show third-party people what the gamers can do use these features. Because I know, like with the Kinect and with the PlayStation Go and all of these weird little accessories, first-party accessories, the consumer usage just wasn't very clear. The features that we were supposed to be using wasn't very clear, and so it didn't ever get picked up by the third parties. And so with this,
the Kinect just died actually at like a month ago, like this month maybe even.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is showing, hey, third party people can use a Joy-Con in each hand. People are comfortable with the unique features of the Joy-Con. All of these things you can put in your games. Don't be afraid. So that's kind of what I think he's trying to say.
And he also said that they'll continue to release new IPs in the future.
Yeah, so someone asked him about their release cadence and whether or not they were going to be able to keep it up into the new year. And he said, "Don't worry, we've got new IPs, we've got old IPs. We will be bringing the heat next year, more or less."
We'll be bumping.
Exactly. He may have actually said we will be bringing the heat, which is an amazing quote from a 50-year-old Japanese businessman.
That's amazing. I approve. I hope this next one isn't one of those. Mutant Muds collection to support video capture. What is Mutant Muds? Is that a new IP?
I've never heard of this game before. It released in like I think 2012 on Steam. It's not a big game. It's not a big deal, which is the point here, because he's adding video capture to his game. He's not someone who has Nintendo's ear. He's not a big developer that Nintendo's courting that they're like working with specifically. It's just some random indie, and he's putting the video capture feature in. So I'm hoping that this means that that's sort of a change that anybody can do, and anybody can just, you know,
Flip the switch and
exactly,
have it
yeah, video
Yeah.
capture enabled equals true sort of thing, and throw it in there. So, but we've not actually seen any news on that. He didn't go into detail, so we don't really know. But hopes.
Yeah. So the next item would be a small patch 4.0.1 for Switch. And they fixed basically, I mean, I didn't have any issues. Did you have any issues?
No, I didn't. There was like 3 or 4 very specific TV models that were having issues. The issues were they were flickering, they would not turn on despite, or like when the Switch was on, they would be flashing through screen resolution. So it'd be like, 6:4 to full HD, and it would just jump back and forth, which was probably very distracting.
Probably very distracting. Yeah, that's one way to put that.
Yeah, so they fixed that pretty quickly. The 4.0 update was under a week ago, and that's what caused the bug. So their turnaround time's pretty fast. Like, I'm impressed that Nintendo's on it.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
We also saw an update to the eShop in the same, not on the same patch, but in the same time frame. It's also minor. The Y page now will take you back to the main menu. You can adjust the video speed, which I don't know if I care about or anyone cares about, but there it is. And they also added a sales section, which is actually cool. I'm kind of tired of looking up on the website because it's just cumbersome to get to, but so then now that it's in the store section is good for everybody, I think.
I opened that yesterday and didn't realize that was new. I kind of thought that was always there.
It was hidden, and it was super annoying because
Oh, okay. I went through it and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Let's see what's on sale. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want any of this. But
Binding
still,
of
it's pretty
Isaac,
cool.
Binding of Isaac, man.
I keep hearing, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting twin stick shooter. You liked Nuclear Throne, so it's kind of like that. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Wii U GameCube adapter functionality was added with patch 4.0.
Yeah. So this came out a little bit later. People didn't actually find it right away because it wasn't in the patch notes. But it's kind of hard to find. You have to go into the controller settings and you have to say add a new controller with everything plugged in, and it'll pick it up. So you have to work for it, and no, Nintendo didn't tell anybody. So the idea that someone's like trying this every time we patch, let's just plug in the game controller and try to add stuff.
See what happens.
Yeah, it's like, who does that? But also good on you, because yeah. So people immediately took this to mean that Smash was confirmed for the Switch, which, I mean, I really do wish. As do a bunch of famous football players, and one particular famous basketball player was all over.
I mean, do they have to confirm something like Smash? It's coming. It's coming. You know it is.
I mean, we had a conversation where you were saying the opposite about Animal Crossing, so.
About Animal Crossing to the Switch?
Yeah.
No, that's coming to. Well, I think my thing there might have been they might have just fully moved that IP to mobile. I hope not.
I'm gonna take a moment to cry because you just said that.
I mean, like something like Fire Emblem, which has already been confirmed. I can't see them moving that to mobile and leaving it there, but I feel like Animal Crossing could be moved and left there. But Smash, dude, like we don't need that to be confirmed. We know it's confirmed.
Yeah, fair enough. The idea was that it was soon, so within the next 6 months.
Who knows about that?
And then to counter that assumption that people made, Reggie was quoted as saying, "I think it's fair, interviewer, that peripheral working was as much a surprise to us as it was to consumers." Which, yeah, an amazing statement. Proving that Nintendo sometimes has no idea what they're doing, as because we were talking about how there was a feature added in 4.0 that was hidden, and it seemed like it was I don't remember what it was now. It seemed like they just accidentally added it, and it didn't make any sense. And so yeah, I think that their patching system is just not very good.
Or maybe they just have like a laundry list of features that they're trying to put out all at once, and some of
Mm,
them are kind of ready, some of them kind of aren't ready. Yeah, it was the USB headset
that's what it
support.
was. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like to me that felt like that was probably not ready yet because it didn't. I thought we learned that it didn't work on everything.
I didn't see.
I know I was watching Nintendo Life's YouTube channel, and they said that they could only get it to work with the PS4 USB um, headphones.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I saw something from like Forbes or something where they said that it was extended beyond that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, who knows?
I don't know. They're working on a lot, obviously, and some things are probably accidentally getting pushed through.
Yeah, for sure.
That's funny. That's hilarious to me, though. But anyway, that about wraps up the news, except for the upcoming games, of course, which is very light, which is great considering that Super Mario Odyssey just came out. Some of these games I'm actually excited for. Let's start with Cartoon Network's Blast Chasers.
So it is a $40 game. It is coming out on the 31st. It is a 2D run and gun, kind of like Metal Slug. There's also like beat 'em up aspects to it in that some of the characters are melee. It's a re-release of a PS4 and Xbox One game from about the same time last year, actually. A 4-player local multiplayer. It features characters from a bunch of different Cartoon Network shows that I've not heard of because I'm not in that.
You've heard of most of these. Regular Show, Adventure Time, Amazing World of Gumball.
I've heard of
Uh,
them in that I know their names, but if you showed me a character from each show and said, which one
Who
is
is
this
this?
from? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat actually. But
I
it,
know
it looked really good.
it did look really good, which I found this out at the very end as I was finishing researching this. It was destroyed in the ratings. It averaged like a 25 on Metacritic, which is
Whoa. What was
yeah.
the complaint? The main complaint?
Um
Or was there a main complaint?
that it was a soulless recreation without any of the charm that makes the TV shows in question good.
Hmm. So like a cash grab type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. The licensing cash grab that we are so familiar with. Um, yeah, I was really disappointed because I wanted it to be good, and then I went, oh, I should look at the Metacritic. Oh, this is ugly.
That's why people care about reviews. I mean, maybe, random people on the internet from Reddit who stick a arbitrary number on it, not so much, but those for sure, the Metacritics for sure.
Yeah, and I mean when seeing 10, 100 out of 100 reviews, and then seeing 170 out of 10 isn't gonna make me go, I'm gonna skip this one. But what?
That's also fair, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Well, that's what Metacritic is it's like a
it's a
all of those like together
yeah.
combined to score. Yeah.
Well, you can see that, but you can also see the individual pieces. So you can, if you look at the reviews, you'll see here are all the good reviews, here are all the medium reviews, here are all the bad reviews. So you can see
And
that,
just see what they're saying.
yeah, and a number
Yeah.
too. So you can see, oh, there are 80 good reviews and then 2 medium reviews and a bad review. Like, well, that kind of tells you something. You don't really need to listen to those 2 negatives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Like when you buy anything off Amazon, you look at the star rating.
exactly.
So anyway, moving along. Monopoly. Oh yeah. That's amazing. Want
It,
to take that one away?
I'm gonna treat this like I did Super Mario Odyssey last week. It's Monopoly. It's $40. It releases in a couple of days. It's
Yeah,
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
It's that
So the
board.
next one up, speaking of it's Monopoly, Ultra Chess, but this one has got a little bit of a caveat to it. Why don't you take this one away?
So this is interesting to me. It's I couldn't find an actual price. It's $13 on Steam though, so that's a hint. It releases on the 2nd. It's chess. It's chess with the added
No, it's
caveat.
Ultra Chess.
Okay, my bad. You're right. But with the added caveat that it is one of the highest rated games this year, according to OpenCritic. It was like 96 out of 100. So OpenCritic, those that don't know, is a similar to Metacritic thing with less averaging being
Like,
done.
oh, okay. I was gonna say professional reviews because
So Metacritic, it weights stuff. It says, like this one is a known reputable thing, so they're gonna get a higher weight than random blogger number 50, whose review only minorly influences it.
okay. So it's kind of like a Steam review then, yeah, where everybody's just thrown in the same pile.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I People were, yeah, there was a whole conversation about this that I didn't want to get into, but so it's one of the highest rated games of all of this year, and take that for what it's worth. Not a whole lot. If you care though, it's actually really pretty. It looked really good. It had a lot of cool different sets. It features tools to teach you how to be like a good chess player. It will actually move you along that skill path. And that was kind of one of their big selling points for the game. So again, if you care, if you want to get into chess, this is probably a good place to go. And then I was reading
This is doing it for me.
right?
What
It's
is
so good.
is this legit at all, or
It's somebody on Reddit. There was a conversation. Some guy posted if it were like an online RTS or turn-based strategy game rather. He described it with like a sizable like 3-paragraph review of how he would review it if it were a turn-based online game from the modern era. And then someone responded with this, which you want to read the quote?
Yeah, sure. It sounds like baby's first Fire Emblem, which okay, except without a story or real characters or any sort of gameplay depth, which is just like Fates. Which is why is it so popular? That's I mean, I'll argue that Fates was that. Fates was 100% that. So that and Fates was popular.
I feel like we need a bingo board, and on that bingo board is Colin works into a dig on Fates.
I just hate Fates.
I
I don't. It was just the worst game that they've ever made, and I've played them all. But like, I don't see. I mean, I've never played it, but is it actually? I don't understand. How did he make that connection, that leap?
Okay, first off, it was very satirical in tone.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he was joking. But also, I mean, it brings up a valid point in that like if Mario Odyssey was literally just Mario Galaxy reskinned, we would destroy it. Everybody would complain about how it's exactly the same game that it's always been.
But I guess when you buy a chess game, you buy it knowing that it's going to be literally the same thing you've always played, kind of like a Pokemon game.
But even Pokemon has minor changes along the way. Chess is the
Yeah, that was another
exact same
dig.
game. Oh, okay, my bad. I missed the tone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm very confused why we're talking about this as much as we are, because it's just chess.
It's
But I
just
mean,
chess
it was in the top 10 in that Open Critic site.
of the
So
year. Yeah,
of the year, top 10 of the year. What? Why? What?
yeah.
Why?
So
What?
anyway,
Why? So the next one and the last one, Lumo, and I don't know anything about this, so take her away.
I was really confused about this. People were kind of excited about it. Because it's a $30 game. It releases on the 31st. It is an isometric platformer adventure game.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so isometric is like a 3/4 view vertically,
Okay.
and then platformer adventure. Think like, do you ever play Escape from Monkey Island or anything like that? The side.
I've seen it.
Okay, so that's kind of, it doesn't control the same way, but it's that same sort of walk around and do puzzles and also platforming. Um,
A little bit like Rhyme.
what that is.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
It's a re-release of a PC and PS4 game from a while ago. It focused on the exploration and puzzle solving aspects. So again, but it's inspired by, and no idea what any of these were. I literally googled all three of them: Alien 8, Night Lore, and Head Over Heels. So they're computer games from the Commodore 64/Amiga era. So 80s, mid 80s, early 80s. So if any of those are anything that you ever played as a small child, this is your game. Have you played any of those, Colin?
I've never heard of any of those titles, and I'm googling it right now, and it looks kind of like Magica meets Rhyme to me. Oh, I remember looking this up and really being excited for this. Actually, it's a little. It looks like Vivi or a Magica mage wizard, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then it's kind of um like an isometric, whatever view of like Ocarina of Time dungeon, kind of.
But without the combat,
Right.
which is an interesting change.
This is a very neat looking game. It looks very pretty too,
I mean,
for how simple it is.
you try it, you let us know, because I will not be
Yeah,
touching it.
I will absolutely try it. How much did you say that was?
30.
30. That's not terrible. I'll wait for it to go on sale though.
That about wraps us up for games.
All right. So why don't you take us into this segment of the week?
So this week we will be playing. Now that you've had time with it, and Amazon didn't, finally delivered it. Fire Emblem Warriors.
Still too soon.
Still too. I was really afraid they were going to do that with my Super Mario Odyssey. It's like Thursday night at like 7 p.m. It hadn't shipped yet, and then it shipped at like seriously 8 p.m. Thursday night. So anyway, Fire Emblem Warriors. It is a Warriors game. If you've ever played Dynasty Warriors, if you've ever played Gundam Warriors, if you've ever played Samurai Warriors, it's the exact same game. You run around, you kill dudes. It's very fun in that you can just run around and murder thousands and thousands of people. I think my high score at this point is like 2,500 in one map.
That's
So
crazy.
that's kind of the experience. It's a button masher, but it's very kind of like it's very zen is how I would describe it. Um,
Yeah, things pop up and you just deal with them as they pop up, but it's not like stressful.
yeah, exactly. Not stressful at all. It's been a really good game for like me and my little brother come home and I'm gonna drink a beer and he's gonna just sit there and we're gonna BS about our days as we play Fire Emblem Warriors. And
How is the two players? Is it split screen?
it is split screen, yeah, and there's some performance issues in the split screen, but
Is there?
yeah, but it's good. It's still good. He's a lot better at it than me, which confuses me because I don't understand how you're good at a Warriors game, but every time we play, he's got 1,000 more kills than me at the end of the level. So
It's because he plays Freddy and just picks everybody up with him. I'm telling you, Freddy's where it's at.
Freddy's OP. Okay, I still haven't tried him.
As a devout Fire Emblem fan, it's a little bit disappointing, especially in the characters are like a poor attempt at the real characters from the actual titles. The VO is like a poor attempt at the real VO for each character. Even the Fates characters don't sound right. Even the Fates characters aren't written for properly. Like Camilla is still basically Camilla, but that's not she's a little bit more refined in the game.
I would hope
Uh
so. Her character in Warriors is
she's still
awful.
pretty gross. She's still pretty gross even in Fates.
She
My the
is fan service. You could just name her fan service and it would have been fine.
I mean, I'll definitely agree with you, but she's got more to her than what she has in Warriors.
Okay.
And the thing that killed me the most is I really like the VO for Hanoka, one of the Fates, even though Fate sucks characters. The Pegasus Knight with the curved staff, basically
Hmm.
spear. Her voice is supposed to be kind of like raspy, and in Warriors, it's like some young girl trying to pretend to be raspy. It's terrible. But like those are just nitpicky things. Everything else about it, I really like. Like I think they nailed Freddy perfectly.
Hmm.
Frederick, not Freddy. I shouldn't call him Freddy. Um, I think there's also some conversation between Robin and Frederick, where like Robin talks down to Frederick, which is not at all a thing that happens in Awakening, and I thought that was very strange. But so like as a devout Fire Emblem fan, it's kind of weird. It's making me happy, but also sad at the same time, a little bit. But all in all, I've been really enjoying it.
So an important takeaway: if this is your introduction to the Fire Emblem Warriors or Fire Emblem universe, rather, do not take it as gospel. It is not an
Yeah,
accurate
definitely not.
representation. Is that? I'm gonna show my ignorance here. Do those games generally have okay to good storyline?
Well, until Fates, they were at least decent. It's
Okay.
like it's like every Final Fantasy game, you generally know what you're gonna get. It's generally pretty tropey, but you know, it somehow still manages through like the characters and through their situation, makes it not terrible. Except for Fates. Fates was just awful.
Hey man, I've never seen a black man with a gun arm or a little cat stuffy that is alive. All I'm saying.
Okay, well, we can fight off stream about that.
Fair
But
enough.
I mean, they're never really good. The story so far in Warriors is actually very much a Fire Emblem story, just slapped together, semi poorly done. The story's obviously not the draw to Warriors. It's just kind of there so you can fight dudes. But there's a lot of like, you're kidnapping my sister, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to fight you, despite her saying no, it's not a kidnap. And
All right.
then you get to the end of the fight, and they're like, "Oh, just kidding, ha 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 ha."
I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually that particular one was a big issue for me where it was like you can't calm her down when she's angry. And then next map, you can't calm him down when he's angry. And it's literally the exact same situation with a different sibling. And it hurt me a little bit.
It's definitely done a lot better in the Fire Emblem titles.
Hmm.
But, Fire Emblem Warriors didn't care too much. They were just taking the IP and making it a Warriors game. So
That's
here's an
actually
excuse to fight Camilla. Go do it.
that's an important point. This is not an IS game. I think they had some oversight, but it wasn't actually. They weren't a direct developer in this game, so that's critical to note.
Last I heard, and I can't remember where I heard this from, so take that with a grain of salt. They just signed over the paperwork and said, "All right, go make us a Warriors game,"
Mm.
and like they had nothing to do with it other than giving them their blessing.
Yeah, the title or the license.
Yeah, I definitely don't expect this to be an intelligent systems quality game. I mean, I'm sure it's quality in terms of Warriors, but I've never played those, so I have
I actually
nothing to compare it
saw
to.
that it compares very favorably versus Hyrule Warriors. People were saying that it had more features and whatnot. So
I
on that,
remember Hyrule Warriors getting pretty well rated too, so
yeah, I mean, it's a Nintendo. That one's a Nintendo license. You put a Nintendo license on anything, and it's gonna.
yeah, fair enough.
But that's actually a good segue into. So the collectibles are kind of cool. I like the crafting system. I like the weapon system. How are you? How are you feeling about like all of those non-direct gameplay mechanics?
It's weird. Getting used to it. It's also strange to like in the Fire Emblem games, you wait till you max them out, depending on the title, of course. You wait till you max them out, and then you class change them. And this one, you want to class change them immediately, which feels very like the second title ever in the Fire Emblem history was like that too.
Mm,
I'm not a huge fan of the way the weapons work, and I think that's a product of me not finding enough good ones fast enough to match my Frederick's levels.
mm,
Um, I am kind of a fan of how like the offense and the defense tree work.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's weird. It's definitely not something I'm used to, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm a little concerned about the offense and defense tree. I was focusing on I don't know his name. That's how good the storyline is. The main character, the main protagonist,
Rowan?
male. Yeah, Rowan. There you go.
Okay.
And I'm almost done with his tree, and I'm on like level 10. So I don't feel like I'm far enough in the game for his offense tree to be done. But I think one or two unlocks away.
He's only level 10?
No, I'm only on game level 10.
Oh, what? How am I further than you?
I did not actually play that much. I got
Oh,
Super
okay.
Mario Odyssey, and there was homework due this week, so
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So, have you unlocked Xander and Ryoma yet?
no, they were
Um,
support characters in my most recent fight, so I think
okay,
soon.
yeah, yeah. So we're actually about at the same spot. I unlocked Ryoma and I'm working on getting Xander now. And my Frederick is level, I want to say 17. He's already a great paladin or whatever it's called in this game.
The upgraded one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I haven't, I've leveled everybody else that I kind of care about, but I haven't put any money into any of their crests. And so my Freddy is basically maxed out in like every single category.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, everybody else just I don't care. The first time I took a shot, I had to play Hanoka for a minute, and the first time I got hit in the face by Niles and died like immediately, I was like, "That's it. I'm just gonna play Frederick from now on."
Yep, I had the same experience, but with Lissa. I, I was ignoring the tutorials, and shame on me for that. Uh, it
I
swapped to
couldn't. I
her.
wish I could have.
So it swaps to her randomly. I couldn't figure out how to swap back, and I had to finish the level as her. And Camila, I actually fought Camila, got her down to about half life, and then I almost died. So I ran across the map to get heals, come back, and do it again, get her down to like almost dead, but then I'm almost dead. So yeah, it was, oh, that game.
That sounds like you're really good at it.
I'm amazing. I mean Tristan's 1,000 kills per level better than me. So what does that say?
And Tristan's a AFK half the fights. Now, have you had anybody die on you yet?
I do
Like
not have
actually
Iron
die?
Man on because I'm a
Oh,
baby.
oh, I mean, I just mean like in a single round.
I don't think so. I don't pay that much attention to people that aren't me though. So
Oh, do you not like control where they go and stuff too?
no, God no, I ignore that. I don't.
Ah, that's half the fun. That's like the only part of the game that feels Fire Emblem. Like I'm just gonna send I'll send Crom and Lucina to this fort together because they probably could do it by themselves, but I don't want to lose one. And then I'll send, Robin and Cordelia over to this one, and then I'll go take care of those. You didn't do any of that?
I have used that once because I needed to be on a plane or on a flyer, and Cordelia was not near me, and that was the only time I've used it.
That's half for me. That's half the fun. As a Fire Emblem fan, that's the majority of the fun. We're all doing our jobs,
Hmm. Maybe
and
I'll play with that.
sometimes they take off, and you have to like reroute them back to where you want them.
My only issue with that is that occasionally there's stuff that's kill gated. So there's weapon unlocks that don't you or weapon skill unlocks that you only get at like 2,000, 3,000 kills, which for me so far is kind of a stretch. So
I've only seen that on one bronze axe, and I've just completely ignored it. Like I don't actually even know what that is.
oh. So when you get 2,000 kills, it'll open up and become an actual skill. And I I need to research if that's actually if there's limited stuff behind those, like if you can only get them from the kill unlocks.
Yeah, or if it's just like random anything, literally.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you could actually get something totally lame.
Because
Like I'm not a yeah, go for it.
if there's not specific stuff for the kill unlocks, I'm just not gonna bother. It's just not worth it.
100% where I'm at too. There's one called Rainstorm where it's like it boosts everything, every attack, and then there's some that are like attack 4, like only the fourth attack. Forget that. I don't care about that. I'll use the bronze axe that does like barely less damage than the iron axe, but has Rainstorm and something else on it.
So, got any finishing thoughts?
Uh, Still better than Fates story wise, even though it's terrible. I wish it was a little bit more faithful
Yeah,
to Fire Emblem, but it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot different, but still kind of sort of the same. So I like it a lot.
fair enough. Well, I think next week next week I will be talking about Odyssey because you have zero care for that game. So,
What is Odyssey?
exactly. Look forward to that, everybody. Um, and this is where we would put emails or reviews or comments, any of that. We would read
Lamau.
those. Lamau, exactly. If we get any of those from you guys, we will be reading them here, give you credit and whatnot. So feel free to send those in. You can message us on Twitter. The show is at Desync Nerds. I'm at Kulana, Kulanah, and he's at Inukshuk58, INUKSHUK58. Send him a message and ask him what that means. If you prefer a video version, we stream live on Sundays at twitch.tv/desyncnerds, and we're also on YouTube with VODs at the same Desync Nerds. And with that, we're out.
Peace.